I started coaching collegiately at Northwestern University, and in 2006, the reason that our coaching staff was hired was because just before that, Northwestern women's soccer got in trouble for a huge hazing activity, and it was really the first time, I think, that college kids started to understand, like, oh, what I put on Facebook is public, and oh, the world can see this. And it was a total media circus. I mean, ESPN was camped out in front of these girls' dorms, and it was on badjocks.com. And I mean, still, even if you Google Northwestern women's soccer, one of the first search items that comes up is Northwestern women's soccer hazing. And so I walked into an environment where I was like, wow, like we're kind of walking into what was a pretty big storm and a pretty bad culture, and the idea of figuring out how to change that culture. And one of the things that we had to deal with was this culture of having cliques and having what I called as girls and groups with a lot of social power, but it was negative social power, and they weren't doing the right thing. And it took a long time to figure out how to communicate to those players on how we're all going to change this together. And we started with first, setting the standards. We don't have rules, we have standards, because I found that the players were like, well, tell me how many things that I can't do so I know exactly where the line is, so I know when I might be breaking the rules. And we talked a lot about, well, look, I can't possibly come up with all of the rules that I don't want you to break, but we have standards. And one of our standards is to be classy. One of our standards is to, if you had to tell your mother or your grandmother this, what would they think? And really try to set a level of, this is the expectation at a standard level. We had a lot of cliques, and what we tried to do was really talk to a few of our leaders who were doing the right thing and say, we're going to focus on the positive, and we're going to try to generate some positive momentum. And so the players who continue to want to do a negative thing and continue to want to do the wrong thing, we're going to put them on an island. And they can either choose to swim over and come off the island and join us, and if they want to stay there, they're going to stay there, and they're going to be by themselves. And those players eventually kind of opted out. And we had some players who quit. We had some players who joined us, which was the best part of seeing that culture change and seeing them change. But that was a huge thing, and it took time. I would say it probably took us a good 3-4 years to really change that culture. It was that long of a process, but it was worth it in the end.